Today we are going to show you how to remove the stereo from a 2003 Toyota 4Runner. We've already removed the stereo and had it in the shop for repair, the 6 CD changer, clicking, not ejecting CDs and so on. That problem's been straightened out, so we're going to go forward with the removal and change it a little at the end to do the installation, which is backwards of the removal when we get to that point. Anyways, here's how we're going to start today. We have a 10mm socket. We're going to open up the center console and grasp the edges here and slightly pry along the back edge to pull the panel up from the center console here. This insert will pop up and we'll take it up over the gear shift and remove several connectors. The first connector at the has a trigger on it and releases. The second connector here has a little black trigger on it. We're going to push that trigger down and release that connector. Same with the one here below the 12-volt supply. And we're going to move this panel and set it to the side. All these connectors here are keyed, and the trigger on them on this one is right here on the top, and what you do is you squeeze this down into the connector and it releases the lock and allows it to be removed. Again, these connectors are all keyed so they fit back to one spot. There's no need of making notes as to where they go. Next, we're going to lift up the second panel and remove this back up over the dash and set this to the side as well. And with our 10mm socket, we're going to go down to the bottom of the dash here on the left, and up here on the very left is one 10mm screw we're going to remove. Over here on the right side is a second 10mm screw. Grasp the edge of this panel and pull it forward, and at the same time the trim ring from around the key will release and pop off, and we're going to pull this panel down and set the ring around the key to the side. There is another 10mm bolt hidden back here that we're going to remove. That's exposed from removing this lower panel. It holds the front dash panel onto the car. We're going to open up the bottom pocket here, and this will give access to one more 10mm screw below the AC controls here, or a Phillips screw here, and remove this screw. Pop the center AC and display out of the panel here. It wiggles loose after some clips being released. And because the airbag is on this panel, we do not want to... No airbag? Okay, no airbag. We do have the passenger airbag light here on the this panel, so we want to be very careful either not to disconnect that panel or disconnect the connector to this. And definitely, with it disconnected, do not turn the ignition on. This will send a false signal to the computer in the car, and you'll have to go to the dealership to get that code released. So in this case, we are disconnecting that connector to take this out of the way. Again, do not turn the ignition on with this panel removed. Now that we've removed the AC panel and disconnected it, we're going to remove 2 of the car stereo mounting screws which go at the bottom of the stereo. There are 4 in total, and these 4, we'll get to the other 2 after we get this panel off. And we're going to come back with our pry tool and start at the bottom right side of the dash and attempt to pull this panel forward. You can see it releasing up the edge here. We're going to pull on the left side at the same time as well. The bottom of the panel releases. Pull up, pry along the edges. This will release all clips. The clips release with pry pressure, and we're going to pull this panel forward. There is a connector on the left side. We're going to push the trigger down and release the connector. And on the right side is same as the top of this panel. Now we're going to take this panel and set that to the side. Now this will give access to the radio, and the radio does sit in the top opening here, and there are 3 connectors for this radio. Again, they are all keyed, so they fit only one spot, and they do have the triggers on them here. You release the trigger and the connector will be removed, and we have 2 antenna connectors. These antennas just pull from the back of the radio. So we're going to do the opposite from this point on of removing the stereo. We're going to install the first antenna, the second antenna. Again, all these connectors are keyed so they fit one spot. And at this point you would be pulling the stereo out of the dash to remove these connectors. We're going to place it back in the dash. First, when we reinstall these stereos, because of the 6 CD changer, you can't move the radio while it goes through an initialization process. That way it will align itself properly. Now when removing this stereo, you'll find 4 mounting screws hold this in place. One on the left bottom here, and one here on the bottom right. This is how you remove the stereo from a 2003 Toyota 4Runner. Hope this video has been helpful. Please see our other videos on our website, carstereohelp.com, and thank you for watching.